Hello and welcome to the Bacon Bites. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the live stream this morning. It is January 26th today, so hopefully you all are doing well. Hopefully, I know there's a number of people out there at Dynamics CRM Saturdays or Dynamics 365 Saturdays, excuse me. And so there was events being held in Glasgow over there in England, or excuse me, Scotland, and then also in Boston this morning. And so it was fun to wake up to a bunch of tweets from the different people attending those events. And so very excited to hear more and learn about what was going on there. So I know a lot of great content was shared, a number of MVPs, a number of people that are just passionate in the community. And so very excited for what's coming and the content that was shared there, and hopefully will be shared to the wider audience. Cool. So as always, my name is Seth Bacon. I am the host of Morning with Bacon and Business Apps. Sorry, it's been a little bit discombobulating getting set up this morning. Got a new setup, new desk type of thing. And so just needing to make sure that everything is working, and it's been a little bit hectic. So hopefully you guys are able to see me and hear the audio. I know that was at one point in time something that we struggled with when we started. So I'll be now down looking on the left because that's where the monitor is. So if you haven't joined us before, this is a live stream, obviously. Well, maybe not obvious. So if you're watching this because YouTube records it, then maybe it's not obvious. But anyways, what we do is we take some time. This is something that we take some time on Saturday mornings, take a look at what's new in the community, some of the people that you should be following if you're interested in Dynamics or the Power Platform with the Microsoft business applications. We tend to focus on those. Would be open to looking at some of the other applications, but that's not something that I do day to day, so take a little more prep to get into that. And so we just take some time in the morning. The baby bacon typically sleeps, hopefully, and we typically record until he wakes up. And so after that point, then we go ahead and get back into the routine with him. So that's what today is. Feel free to, if you enjoy this stuff, hit a thumbs up, type in the chat. Love being interactive on this stuff. And so if there's something that you want to see or something you want to talk about, feel free to drop it in the chat and we'll do it that way. If you do enjoy the stuff, I'd just hit the subscribe button. We typically do this every Saturday, and then we are looking at doing some more videos. It's been almost a month since we released just a solid video and some training and stuff. And so that was just with the new year. There's some stuff that came on, and yeah. So anyways, so that's a little bit about the Bacon Bites and the morning with the Biz Apps. There's like two things that I need to do before we get started. So if you guys can just hold on and pause, I'm going to go grab coffee because we all need coffee, especially if you're in the morning. But if you're over in Scotland, I guess a pint would be better. So there's that. And then also I need to go grab my co-host. So I'll be right back. So hang out. I'm going to put some music on so that way it's not dead. And hopefully this is coming through. So we'll do that and I'll be right back. Give me a second. And just like that, I'm back. So a couple of different things I wanted to highlight. Hey, Jamie, how are you, man? Good morning. Thought I'd catch a couple of minutes live. Woohoo! Appreciate it, Jamie. It looks like you didn't make it up to Glasgow, which is okay. I would love to get your input. So as we're doing this, so two things I wanted to call out. It looks like the live stream kind of went down there. Let's see. Live stream. Is it going through? Looks like it's still good. I don't know why my live stream said it went down. So we're going to act like it's still going, and we'll go from there. So keep me posted if it's not. Anyways, a couple of things as we start out. So one, want to thank Customary for helping me find a co-host for the Bacon Bike apps, or Morning with Bacon and Business apps. And so Customary sent this over to me. Let's see if we can make it focus. Maybe not. Anyways, it's a Lego minifigure. Let me get out the shot and see if it focuses on him. Anyways, it's got the Customary logo on it, and then also a ball cap, because as you know, if you've watched Morning with Bacon and Biz apps, we wear ball caps. And so it's something that, again, this is more relaxed environment. It's a live stream. It's not necessarily something that we want to take ourselves too seriously. It's Saturdays. Let's relax and enjoy it. So anyways, and the best part is, so when you take it off, he's got no hair. So if you guys haven't seen my other videos, I rock the same look. So, you know. So anyways, so that is our new co-host. I need to figure out a place to put him, and maybe I'll just put him up here on the computer, and he'll just hang out over there. So anyways, so we have a new co-host for Morning with Bacon and Biz apps. And so very excited to have him. The other one I wanted to call out is received this for Christmas. I need to take off this sticker. Sorry, I'm going to mute it. So anyways, received this hat and from a family member, and so very much appreciate that. And so wanted to rock that on stream today. So it's the Seahawks, and it's the military one. Oh, other side. And the military edition. And so with family in the military, it was something that was meaningful to me, especially being here in Seattle. So that is a brief intro to what's going on here. Let me go ahead and turn down this gain. It's a little loud. It's peaking out a couple of times. So the mic and stuff like that is a new setup. So anyways, let's get into it. So down in the description, always check out the description down below. It's going to be a huge place to find more information. I wanted to highlight a couple of the people that are in the community right now that are doing lots of great things. And so I wanted to first highlight, I think it's Juka or Yuka. I haven't actually met this individual, met him. But anyways, so it's somebody I've been following since, it's like one of those things. He's been blogging and stuff like that since I started my dynamics journey. And so very much appreciate what he's done, just helping the people out there, the individuals like myself that are looking to learn. A lot of helpful articles. And one of the ones I wanted to call out, let me make sure I can see chat so that way I don't miss anything, is, where did it go? I think I put it in the description as well. So he's got a lot of great content around the Microsoft apps and flows, Dynamics, and then also with PowerApps coming out. So we're going to go through this article a little more in depth, but this is his website, Surviving CRM, what's coming up in 2019 release. And so spoilers, but that's what we're going to be focusing on a little bit today. But he just talks about where you start and where it goes as far as PowerApps and where you should start reading the April release notes. He did have a conversation let me pull up. No, it's okay. Let me pull up the other. I don't know if you guys have done this before, but with Chrome, you can have different personas. And so that's what I do here on the live stream. So that way I can keep sort of these different tabs open with the different ones. And so let me go to here. And again, I apologize for not having all this up earlier. That was something we'll talk about. A couple of things we'll talk about there. And then where did he go? I've done so much this week, apparently, on social media. I didn't even realize it. Anyways, we reached out to him asking him what he wanted to highlight. And so he talks about with a great app anticipation. The 2019 is out, so different compared. So again, this is just changing the way people think about Dynamics when it comes to a business application. And so he's going to have some blog articles coming out. That's what he's talking about here. As well as the licensing side. So be very much interested in to see the insight that he provides. And my biggest thing was, I agree. I mean, the last 8+ years, it's been very consistent in what was released and how things were released. And now we have this whole new thing coming. So when you see something like that, again, when he sees a pivotal change coming in a product and the way people think about it, there's a lot of opportunity to blog about it and to write articles. And so definitely check him out. Again, Juka, I think is how you say it, from Finland. And so check him out. He's somebody that a lot of people follow because there's a lot of great content that he's pushing out there. So check out the link below down in the description for his Twitter handle as well as his blog. And so I have enjoyed his content. And again, he takes it from a number of different angles, whether it's technical or whether how it applies to people. And so very much appreciate what he's doing. Other ones I wanted to point out is Kylie. So Kylie, and I'm going to throw it out there. So Kylie is the chapter leader for Washington, D.C. user group. And so she is somebody that is very heavily involved in Dynamics communities. She is a chapter leader that has a lot of great content, a lot of great sessions that she's presenting or going to. And so she helped put on Dynamics Boston today. And so she's out there today helping out with that crew. And so very much appreciate the work that she's doing. She's somebody that I feel like I don't know, what's that book? There's a book that talks about the different types of people. And one of them is the type of people that are connectors. And so being able to connect different people and stuff. And so she has a lot of people that she interacts with and knows, and somebody that as I'm just sort of trying to, as a chapter leader myself, seeing what's out there, how is she doing this? It's somebody that I learned from that perspective, is what is she doing? How is she getting people involved? If you haven't seen it before, she's got this monkey that she carries around with her everywhere, it seems like. And so you'll see him pop up, and it's kind of a mascot. Maybe it is the mascot for the DC crew. So she takes him everywhere, and it's been fun to sort of watch that interact, and it's like a selfie, right? And so anyways, so now I'm getting super distracted by this, but anyways, somebody that's very fun to watch in the community, very engaging. Have had an opportunity to sit in a couple of her sessions before, and so enjoyed that. She does have a blog, and so we'll highlight that as well as so here's her blog. And so she's got a couple of articles out there just with regards to, looks like, importing. And so check that out with regards to importing and New Year's, new change management. And so again, somebody that kind of touches in different places and different things. And so I have enjoyed watching her over the last couple of years go through things. Other one that she asked me to call out and highlight is the Washington, D.C. chapter. It's funny that it's CRMUG Washington, and it's the D.C. one and not the Seattle one. Anyways, I'm not going to be bitter about that. Anyways, they have a meeting coming up on February 13th in Maryland, Chevy Chase, Maryland. I'm not sure exactly where that is, but check that out. Looks like they got a scrolling wheel, which is really cool. You guys may be able to hear baby Bacon in the background. Sounds like he is not ready to go down for a nap. So we'll see. We may move this to 10 a.m. Pacific time. We're trying to figure out his nap schedule since he went down to 2 naps. And so, so it's fun. And the last couple of things as we go in, let me see if these links work. She will be presenting, and we'll see. Yeah. So Feeling Alone in the Desert, Basics for New Admins. So as people are new administrators coming on, she's got a webinar coming out on January 30th. So if you're watching this live, check it out. And it's part of Dynamics Communities, and it's a benefit for those that are in the community itself. Check that one out. And the other one that she has coming out as a follow-up, it's kind of a two-parter, is on the one on the right. So creating an oasis. And so I love the branding that she's doing. So you're feeling alone in the desert. You're a new administrator. Do you need to know? And then, okay, now we're creating an oasis. And so very much appreciate what Kylie's doing. It's this kind of stuff that she just continues to give back to the community and help create events and everything. So if you're interested in what may be going on in your area, she may be able to help with that. Definitely reach out to your local chapter leader as well. So cool. So those are a couple of the people that I follow, some of the people that I've interacted with, and very much appreciate what they're doing. Again, Kylie is a great person. If you're interested in being a chapter leader, what that takes, her involvement in the community itself. If you're a new administrator, somebody else, again, that I would follow. Somebody that's been around for a while, again, is Juka, and just his insight into sort of the broader picture of the platform as well. So definitely check those two out. So anybody else that we want to highlight as part of this, feel free to drop that down in the chat. I know it's a little bit delayed, so we'll see when that comes through, but feel free to, if there's other people you want to call out, check them out as well. So other ones, again, we always highlight CRM Audio podcast, and so check that out. XRM Toolbox, that's a application that helps people go through and works on the platform itself. It was funny. I had a conversation with a coworker today or yesterday, and they're like, it does so much. I feel nervous using it. It's like, yes, with much power comes great responsibility. But it's been neat to see the tools that people are providing around that. So cool. And then the CRM MVP podcast or CRM MVP Media that joined us last week. And so they have a great content, whether it's on YouTube or the podcast. And that's Gus Gonzalez behind the scenes, the man behind the scenes there, the wizard, working on that stuff. So a couple of people we always highlight. Also, D365 Saturdays. I'm going to pull that one up. This one's already going on. There's a couple that I linked down in the show notes that have already happened. So apologize for those that maybe wanted to get out to one of the two today. So we had Boston going on today, Scotland going on. So we have Milan and then also Tampa. It looks like Tampa, I don't know if this one has dates yet. Looks like it has dates. So February 23rd, so just under a month. Down in Tampa. So if you're in the Tampa area or on the East Coast somewhere, would recommend checking that out. And here's a list of the amazing speakers that'll be there. Again, the reason we start with the sessions like this every day is just to highlight who's out there, what they're doing, because the question came up, who do you follow? So we're going to cover Steve. Steve's a great guy. Had an opportunity to meet him a couple of times and just enjoy his style and his approach. And it's kind of a no-nonsense one. And so we'll cover him and his stuff. And then also Christopher, or Chris, I think is what he goes by. Had a chance to interact with him a couple of times. So anyways, check it out. 365saturday.com for one potentially coming close to you. So a lot of great speakers coming that way. So I'm going to close that one. Other one that we've mentioned and highlighted before is the Power Platform World Tour or PowerApps World Tour. So this is coming out, and this is being put on by Dynamics Communities. Who should attend? Here's the World Tour. And again, this is not. It would encourage people that are interested in coming to these. Just to check them out if you're interested in the Power Platform. The D365 Saturdays are fairly similar to this. A lot of the same speakers, but the take on it's different. And I don't even know. I want to be careful actually saying it's the same set of speakers. There's a couple of crossover speakers, but not everybody that speaks at Dynamics Saturdays would be at the PowerApps, because the PowerApps again is more. It's the flow, it's the Power Apps itself, it's Power BI. And so there's not a direct correlation, but there is some overlap on sometimes. So anyways, one's coming up, Silicon Valley, Washington, D.C. So if you're in the D.C. area and chapter, lots of stuff going on. Chicago's coming up in April, London. So for those that attended Glasgow, maybe you guys can head down and hit up the London one. And then also Copenhagen. So I know that these last couple, and this one I'm looking at you, Jamie, I think they're still looking for speakers at some of these. So if that's something you're interested in speaking, it looks like this one closes on the 6th of May. And again, this is held in August. So a couple of months. And so we'll be continuing to highlight this, but definitely check it out. Submit an idea if that's something you're interested in. So I don't think I have this in the show notes yet in the description down below. So I will leave this one open as a reminder to go ahead and put that in. So again, find your location. You can go ahead and submit proposals or see who's speaking. So check that out. Good. This is kind of my tip of the cap, if you will, to Scotland and the UK. The piano guys actually filmed a fight song at this same castle. So just a little tidbit for those that are interested. I think that's it as far as that goes. I wanted to, let's see if I can do this. I know this is live. I know this is a repeat. And this we already see again. I need to mute this. It's just easier to get the links to have them pop up. Anyways, it's all coming from the show notes, as you can see. So let's go ahead and check out the April release. I'm going to put this on the other side. So that way we can do it there. So, okay, cool. Let's go ahead and talk about the release a little bit. So we're going to touch on the release itself. We're going to then I want to talk a little bit about the new form designer, and that's what we're actually going to get into content. And it sounds like maybe Bacon may not want us to stream for very long. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe we turn this into a night stream, and for those in the UK, you guys will miss it. For those in Australia, it'll work out. So we may see how this goes. So, okay, the new release. So Microsoft is coming out with, they've done a lot better job getting stuff out as far as information wise, so people can prepare for their new release prior to it coming out. What the other thing that they're doing is they're combining everything Dynamics and Power Platform together into sort of one long release. And so just be aware of that. And so when you're reading through this, and Serum Audio had a podcast on this recently, how do you read through, and I think it's 300 pages worth of content. Oh, it's a train. I thought it was like a typewriter when I saw it, when you just like cut out this portion right here. I wasn't sure what it was. Anyways, it's a train yard, and it's everybody coming together. Interesting marketing there. I see what you did there, Microsoft. I like it. So it's 300 pages, and so that's a lot of reading. But take it with a grain of salt, because those 300 pages are broken down on a website. So check it out. But with this, there's marketing, there's sales, customer service, field service, project service automation. So again, these kind of top couple here are all that what you think of CRM formerly. Finance and ops, so that again was the former AX. Talent and retail, again, part of F&O. So we'll see how, we'll give it another couple of minutes. He may just not be going down for a nap, in which case we will stop, help the kid out, and then maybe jump back on today. Maybe we will do something else, but maybe reschedule. So again, we may start doing this at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So talent, retail, Business Central. So again, that's a new one. Artificial intelligence, which is awesome to see coming in. Mixed reality. So when people think of HoloLens, that's where some stuff is coming out. And again, so you just see it kind of all coming in. Portals has its own section, which has been neat to see that come through. PowerApps, everybody's familiar with that. Again, it's kind of everything in this one, and the Microsoft Flow. So a lot of stuff going on just with the release notes. It's also cool that they do change history. So as things get updated, features are removed from the release notes. So you can see that as well, what's going on. So anyways, so one of the things, and this is what we started with Juka, was just the fact that where do you start in this 300-ish page document? And so he recommends starting with the PowerApps. So if you're around the Dynamics platform, he highly recommends starting from the PowerApps perspective, and just seeing what's coming out there. And so what's planned, what's coming, and here are the release dates. And again, this is where Microsoft's done a lot better job in the last year or so, just with helping people understand what's coming. And so what's general availability, what's coming, embedding Canvas apps and model-driven forms and general availability. That's something I came out with preview and now is going to be generally available. Solution checking capabilities. It's again something people have talked about and seen and touched and played with, but now it's general availability coming. Usage reports in your inbox, so that's kind of cool too. So how much have the items been used? Many-to-many relationships in Canvas apps. I'm going to pop that one out. I'm very interested to see how they are handling many-to-manys. Leveraging views from CDS for apps and Canvas apps. So again, a couple of other things that are coming out. Improvements in end-user experience. Sign in to D365 on a mobile device. So if you're interested in that and reading that, better platform for administrators. Let's check out the improvements around there. And so again, just kind of going through on what's going on. Unified interface for everyone as the default experience. Interesting. So as people are starting to come on new, oh, not the one I wanted, forward, a new tab. Take a quick look at that one as well. The experience of choice by users, new control functionalities, enables advanced Canvas apps. What does it mean by new advanced? Enhanced platform capabilities. Access data from CDS for apps offline and mobile. Nice. I think I've seen some stuff around that. Office value add-ins, improved solution support for Canvas apps and Flow. It's coming in June, so a couple of months away. Teams is a first-class distribution channel. Interesting. So cool. Okay, so that's a quick look of the ones I just wanted to touch on. These all should relate back to what we just saw. A major experience improvement for the legacy D365 experience of authoring forms. Following the preview release, this design includes new capabilities to help makers productively author model-driven forms. Some of these capabilities include drag and drop support to add fields and controls. Seems like it's been there, but authoring quick create, quick view, and quick card forms. Supporting for adding subgrids, quick views. I feel like this is kind of all just getting us back to where we were with the other solution improvements. Control panes to easily discover, add custom controls to forms and deliver rich end user experience. Cool. Okay. It seems like it's just getting you back to where it is, or has been. And I'm just going to pop this open. So I think what they're discussing there is, if I remember correctly, when it talks about these new app form designer, I think it's this WYSIWYG for preview of the new form designer, where it actually allows you see the form for the unified interface. And so if I remember correctly, that's what this is describing here. And so that's, and this is down, this link right here on the right, this tip 1216 from CRM tip of the day is touching on that. So introducing the new WYSIWYG model-driven form designer in public preview. And again, this was back in December. And so I think it's talking about the fact that this is going to be GA come April. So anyways, so check out the tip of the day with regards to the WYSIWYG. Actually, I'm going to put this one off to the side because I actually hope to get to that one today. and potentially on this show, depending on how the baby Bacon is enjoying his nap. Better support for many-to-many relationships. Again, on this show, if you haven't stopped by before, what we do is we go through and essentially, selfishly, this is me going through and learning what's new coming out. And so I essentially just hit the stream button and we'll talk through the different items as I'm learning them. And so I don't claim to be an expert on this, but will give my opinion, obviously, as you can see as I go through it. Other people will live stream video games. I live stream reading books. And you're watching. So, welcome to Seth Bacon reading the Microsoft documents for April release of 2019. Thank you. Anyways, sorry. I definitely shouldn't do this at night because I get a little slap happy. And so that's just like a taste of what would happen. So business data is relational. Customers and employees, suppliers, shippers, products, and inventory interrelate through orders and purchase orders. Okay, I got to read that again. Business data is relational. Gotcha. These all relate through orders and purchase orders. Sure. In CDS for apps, these relationships are modeled as a one-to-many, many-to-one, or many-to-many relationship. Okay. Makers can walk all of these types of relationships in CDS for apps by using single objects dot notation. Oh, this is what we're seeing right here. Just as we previously had done with many-to-one relationships. So looking at the parent, for example, order.employees.names walks from the orders entity across many-to-one relationship to the employees. So many orders to one employee, identifies and retrieves the name field. Conversely, employees.orders returns a table of orders that this employee has assigned, and many-to-many relationships are handled in the same manner. In addition, many-to-many relationships aren't based on lookup fields in either entity, so makers can relate and unrelate records by using do functions. What? Okay. So breaking that down, just going through this. This one's kind of the many-to-one is what everybody thinks of and it has been doing for a long time. So I have many orders and I want to look at the employee name and I want to bring in that name field into whatever. And so that's easy, doable, done, right? So that's something that everybody typically is familiar with. And just from this table to this table, grab this field. Okay, cool. That's straightforward. Conversely, this is where we go from the one to many, and this is kind of cool. What it's allowing you to do is essentially do it like a subgrid. And so I can go in and pull the child records from the subgrid. So with that, that's kind of cool. The ability to essentially generate a subgrid on it. The fact that you can generate a subgrid allows for, I don't know, just kind of this stuff. So what is this employee responsible for? What is specific? And create probably some filters on there too. To see what that looks like. So it's kind of interesting that they're bringing in that functionality. I can see how that'd be super helpful and how that would be a limitation. I don't know if I've tried using a Power App to display a subgrid, but that's essentially what it is. So you could do it from account to opportunities, employee to orders, like they said, any number of child relationships. The other one that's interesting, and I was gonna give him a hard time first, where it just says, "Oh yeah, many-to-many relationships can be handled as well in the same manner." Okay, you give me like examples here how to write it, but here you don't. But then it talks about in addition to the many-to-manys aren't based on a lookup field. So again, I think you just go from table to table in either entity. So makers can relate and unrelate records by using new functions. So again, I feel like it's the same syntax when you're doing it. It's just a matter of even though it's the same syntax, being able to come in and add new ones and relate new ones, I think is pretty cool. And so it's not just a matter of putting it out there. Now you can actually have them interact with it. So this one's cool. I'm going to leave that one open and drop it down in the description. I wish I could do this like on the fly. Maybe I can. Let's see how this works. So I'm going to try to drop this in the description as opposed to the show notes, just so that way everybody can get this at the same time. So that'll be in the show notes at the end of the show. So that one's, I'll just go ahead and save it or else I'll forget. Save changes. Okay, cool. Hopefully that went through. Anyways, I need to like put this up. So right now I have the video that I watch. So like the one I'm checking down low and like chat's down low. So it looks like this all the time, and that's not great. Nobody wants to see that. I mean, unless I'm like showing off my hat or something. So anyways, I will try to work on keeping my head up. The other thing that I did was I went with a vertical monitor for the second one. And so it's more up and down. So anyways, TBD. No. TMI. The other TLA. So TBD versus TMI and then TLA. 3-letter acronyms. Yeah, that's right. Cool. Okay, back at content. Test out new updates first and preview. So how do we do it? And so there's going to be in your environment and then going to so looking at environments, going to the place, going to settings, and then there should be a preview updates option. So let's put this on the spot and see if this actually is there. It actually, if I remember right, release notes, it should, yeah, here's the dates. So preview is available on the 1st. So if it was marked as a preview, or it's going to be GA, it comes on the 1st. Looks like James Phillips, and he's going to do an event, a launch event. So a virtual launch event. I'll have to subscribe to that. Where was I going? Portals. So while that comes up, so short answer, pop in there, click preview, and that's going to allow you to control whether it's on or off for the different environments. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if you can turn it off. I would assume you can turn it on, and hopefully you can turn it back off. But I don't know what that does to your environment. If there's things that are in the background that's going to turn it, I don't know. That it gets me a little nervous anytime you do that. So we got that. Unified interface is the default experience. I don't think this comes as any surprise. I can now set the unified interface as their default web client. Improves the home page experience to show all available model-driven apps and gives the ease of working in simple purpose-built apps. All the PowerApps model-driven apps, as well as deep link URLs. I think that's like it'll take you directly to another app. In the unified interface, so users can take advantage of the many features and experiences that make the unified interface better and more capable than the legacy experience. In addition, system administrators and customizers can choose to hide the monolithic Dynamics 365 custom tile on the homepage apps to give users a truly modular apps-only interface. Cool. I'm actually super excited about that last one. That's the example of this. So I have a lot of apps, but I'm also the system administrator. But you know what I don't want to know? As the system administrator, I don't need as the end user, I don't need this custom app. Why do I need this custom app? This should only be there for the system administrator. So that's what they're talking about here, is being able to hide this one. because currently I think it defaults to everybody. And so when somebody logs in, they could actually just see specifically the apps that I needed. They don't get this other one. And that's really cool. I like that because I like it if you're using apps. And I think the more I've studied this and the more I've interacted with people, the more it makes sense to use apps. I want to be careful because I don't want to say ever, because as soon as you make an absolute statement, they are rarely true. Absolute statements are rarely true. I don't want to say never true, but but they're rarely true. So that's yeah. So anyways, being able to hide that is good because then people just will see the apps that they need to see. So check that out. That'll be neat. I'm not sure how you do it. This is the one that I think is interesting. The Microsoft's doing, they'll give you this stuff, but they don't tell you how to do it. So, but anyways, cool. So we'll close that one. New control functionality enables advanced Canvas apps by allowing users to reliably scan barcodes, QR codes, and data matrix codes. I don't know what this means, so we'll Google it. With their mobile devices, as well as to show locations and routes on maps, a whole range of new field apps can be targeted. A new rich text editor allows a more seamless transition of existing corporate apps into PowerApps, while support for stream video supports workflow productivity within the Microsoft ecosystem. So we got new controls, advanced Canvas apps. So that's where we talk about barcodes, QR codes, and mixed data codes, which are QR codes. Oh, assets tag versus like a QR code, which sends you out to a URL. Okay, so here's what it is. It can store up to a lot of characters while it can only hold fewer characters. The final major difference between these 2D codes is the error correction levels. Both codes have error correction capabilities as per an algorithm. Reed Solomon. I don't know who that is, but it looks like how it interprets it is different. So interesting. So the ability to read those is shown locations, as well as to show locations and routes on map. So again, being able to embed that in a Power App, that's kind of really cool. Watch out, Resco. And a whole range of new fields can be targeted. Cool. I'm excited for that. It's good. Again, it's this kind of stuff where they just keep throwing stuff out there, and it's going to be cool to see it. The other thing that's interesting, again, it tells you it's coming, doesn't tell you how to use it. So I would look for documentation eventually to come around this. Yeah, perfect example. Access data from CDS for apps offline and mobile model-driven apps. Users, model-driven apps can access their data even while offline. Thanks. Awesome. Your release notes description is bigger than this is. So anyways, yeah, that's weird. It's not weird. It's cool that model-driven apps, because again, there's two types, Canvas apps and model-driven apps. And so now with model-driven, which is a lot of different ones, that you would think of a lot of times with former Dynamics CRM type of functionality. That was what you think of with model-driven. So improved solution, support for Canvas apps and flows. So now how are we moving them between the environments for Canvas apps and flows? Several key improvements over the October preview. You can track dependencies. That's nice. And when a managed solution is uninstalled, removes the apps. Interesting. This is a good example of why the cadence is so important now for Microsoft and for people around the platform. It used to be if you had an issue like this, and this goes back to when they first released like patching and solutions around that. Was it patch and clone patch? there was kind of a known issue. It wasn't a known issue, but you quickly ran into it, where you couldn't add just specific features. And so you either had to add the whole entity or nothing. And so it turned people off for almost years from ever using that feature and that functionality, because it took Microsoft 6 months, a year, probably a year plus, before they said, oh, okay, you just want the field? Here's just that field. And so the turnaround time turned people off from using that for longer than it was. And so they didn't even reconsider. I know I didn't reconsider it until like 2 years ago. But after that, it was like, okay, this is actually really cool, and they've made it really cool. So now we can actually use this. But this is a great example of how they said, okay, we heard your feedback. People are installing apps managed solutions, and then they try to remove it, and the app stays there. So we need to remove that app as well. So awesome job, Microsoft, in listening to that and improving the lifecycle. But this is the new Microsoft when it comes to business applications. So be very aware of that. That input does quickly often get back out there. Parameters and environments. Oh, I'm so excited about this. Hopefully this goes out other places. You know what parameter I would love to see more often? And somebody, if you guys have figured this out already, drop it down in the comments, drop it in the live chat if you're here, is the URL of the environment itself. I would love to see that as a parameter. It would make it so much easier to write reports and stuff like that. Custom connections and solution. Moving custom connectors and solutions, adding Canvas apps and flows to a solution, even if they aren't created in a solution. Oh, interesting. I never ran into this, but this is good to know. So currently, if you add a Canvas app outside of a solution, you can't add it. You weren't able to add it to a solution. So that's like adding an entity in the default solution and not being able to add that entity then into a future solution. So, okay, good. That's kind of a quick tour. What else do we have going on in this? I feel like I missed a lot somehow. What's planned for sales? LinkedIn organization charts, including alerts when key contacts change companies. Just deeper integration with LinkedIn. I don't know. It's cool to see it coming. I mean, to see you haven't even left Dynamics or haven't left the model-driven app, I guess. But here we have LinkedIn. He's bringing information in. I don't know. Do you need a LinkedIn Sales Navigator? Microsoft Relationship Sales brings together capabilities from Dynamics 365 Sales and LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So I think you do need LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which I think is a separate subscription. So just bear that in mind. And just, was there a notification? Yeah. And receive updates when the contact leaves the position. You know what would be interesting is, and I kind of understand how this is happening, but essentially what they're saying is, hey, your main contact left, let's react to that. Whereas I would love it to see, hey, they just hired somebody new as their VP of sales or their VP of IT or something like that. So if that's coming through, like that would just let me know, like I'm already working with Starbucks or Amazon or whatever. I mean, bad examples, but if I'm working with a company, I mean, they're okay examples, but like if you don't know that the CFO changed from one of those large companies, then you haven't like been reading the Wall Street Journal or your local news if you're in Seattle. So anyways, but if there was, hey, the company you're working with just hired a controller, a CFO, or VP of sales, or the new North America VP, like that'd be awesome to get push notifications that, hey, this is happening. You should reach out to this person because the client is changing, and hopefully you're aware of that. So Microsoft Teams integrations with Relationship Assistant. If you haven't seen a Relationship Assistant, check it out. There's people out there that are talking about this, it's really cool. It's sort of what should you do next to make sure that you're productive. We need to play. So on my to-do list is to use the playbook enhancements, or use the playbook. If you haven't used the playbook or seen the playbook, it's that concept. They kind of give the example that, hey, you just received a notification that this individual left. What is the play that we run to make sure that we stay engaged at this client? So here it talks about wants to provide their team with sales materials, product training, content, information needed to close any deals. All this information needs to be contextual, available within Dynamics for CE. Wants the latest news and updated content to be acceptable, always ready to support the deals that they're working on. So again, it's that, I mean, you see it in sports all the time. They got these books that they want to run plays from. Basketball has it, baseball even has it. It's kind of, I mean, people are like, oh, baseball doesn't have playbooks. The shift, your playbook is the third baseman doing his third base coach doing his thing, where he's like touching his cap and touching his nose and like going across. If I touch my arm and then touch my nose, it's going to be a steal. But if I just touch my nose, then it's off or whatever. But those are calling plays in baseball, and so it is there. So anyways, just being able to bring that same mentality that people are very familiar with into their sales approach, which is kind of cool. If you've seen this other places, would love to hear about that. If it's something you've seen in another product or something, would enjoy hearing about that as well. I don't know if Salesforce or one of these other sales platforms has something similar. So simplified first run experience to get started with sales professionals. Role-based welcome page. This is one of those things that I feel like it's hidden, but it's something that could definitely be helpful. So as a sales person or as a customer service person, so it's role-based, what is my welcome screen? So having a unique welcome screen is really cool. When somebody first walks in, that helps with user adoption. Quick setup guide for administrators to configure the sales professional application, integration with O365. Access all relevant applications within their sales professional application. It's interesting because I feel like this one is helping people that may not want to partner, or it's a small company and they have 5 sales guys or 10 sales guys. So they just want to buy a license, get up running. They want the integration. And it's interesting. It's cool to see Microsoft kind of helping out the little guy, if you will, get up and running on this huge enterprise application. Simple forecasting for effective sales performance management. Oh, this one. I'm nervous about this one. Well, maybe not nervous. I guess it's not goals, but forecasting. So this is the concept. I think everybody's familiar with forecasting, what needs to be done, so they can accurately predict revenue for a given period of time. And so being able to, what's my estimated close date, and then how likely is it to happen, and then what is some more of the information around that. So excited for this. I think people, when you talk to, or you listen to CRM audio podcasts, there's other people that have forecasting features. I just think, I don't know, I'll be interested to see how configurable it is. Anytime that I've worked and interacted with the sales team, everybody's different, even within the sales team a lot of times. And so I guess it depends on how large of an organization it is. But with the medium and smaller ones, everybody's got a side deal or something like that. I will get 2% of this type of sale, and I'm going to get 20% of this other one, because that means I worked harder for it, and so I'm going to get a different percentage on that one. And so, again, that's more commissions based, and so it's not forecasting. But I'm just curious on how people will leverage this, and if people start gaming the system, and there's just change management around that. So do you sandbag? Can you see people sandbagging? Can you And again, it's all based on data and driven off of data. So one of the other things I just want to kind of stop and pause real quick. It was kind of I forget where it came from. Maybe it was a tweet that somebody had or something. But it was the concept of just what does it mean to have a successful implementation for a system. And so if you think about it, it's my job to be in Dynamics. Well, it used to be my job to be in it more often, but my job is to be in and around my computer, like 80% of my time. And so I should be building things. I should be creating documentation and stuff like that. So my job is kind of literally to sit at a computer all day. There is, I don't know, you need to meet with people and stuff like that, and there's interactions and whatnot. But one of the things that I think often gets lost on people that are implementing systems is that their job is to sit in front of the computer all day. The people they're designing the systems for, their job is not to sit in front of the computer all day and enter data. Their job is to, if it's a caseworker, to interact with clients, to interact with people, to interact with organizations. If you're a sales guy, it's getting out there and making phone calls. And yes, there may be a VoIP phone that you're using, and there's opportunities to help track some of that stuff. But your job is to have a conversation on the phone and to make it personal and make it an opportunity to go through the sales process. And so their job, and this is why salespeople hate systems a lot of the times, is because they don't see a value in it. And so what they end up doing is that it was designed by somebody that their job is to sit in systems all day. And so they designed it for people who sit in systems all day. They didn't design it for people that are on the phone or that need to be in their car or whatever, because we've gotten so much to the point where your job is to design a system, build a system, make it easy. And what my definition of easy is not the same definition as somebody else. And so, and you often get lost in translation that you're not doing this for your customer, the IT department guy that bought the system. You're actually doing it for their customer, the sales guy. And so the sales guy is the one that's going to interact with this, and the sales guy is the one that's going to need to interact with his clients to make sure that that business continues and moves forward. So anyways, just something that we talked about this week. I think it may have been a tweet, it may have been an article I read, it may I know I talked with the client about this week, was just the fact that they have people that are essentially caseworkers and helping people throughout the area just work through interacting with individuals that have needs. And so whether they're homeless or whether they're youth, for dealing with a number of different things, these are caseworkers in the area that need to focus on those individuals and providing services and real services. And the system is going to be helping them track and make sure that the client is investing money wisely, but it's not something that they are going to just have to be mindful and the skill level, what people do and the skill that they have to interact with systems is very different. I had people in Denver that I would work with, or were friends, and we played baseball together, or softball, excuse me. Didn't mean to offend anybody that plays actual baseball. What we would do, so anyways, they were counselors. And so it was funny listening to them talk about systems, because I spend all day in systems and be fine with it and go home and spend more time on it. That's what I do on the weekends. But they would go ahead and they would spend as little time as possible in systems because what they focused on is helping the individuals, and they would research different, because they were psychologists, and so they would research things and make sure they're studying and understanding the client and talking to other people, just with how do you approach this kind of stuff and how do you go through it. And again, more these individuals were in grad school at the time or had just recently gotten out of grad school, and so but it was just interesting, and that's the type of people that we're designing systems for. They're not sales guys necessarily, but their job is to not be in the system. And so we would encourage you, if you're a system administrator, and this is kind of a soapbox, or one that is starting to become a soapbox that I have with internal folks, is let's focus on how simple we can make this. And you know what's really hard to do? Making things simple. Making complex things like this simple. It's also that conversation that any good either consultant or any good system administrator is preempting when somebody asks you, hey, I need to track these 300 different data points on an individual, and I want it the first time they talk to somebody. Well, you know what? The first time you talk to somebody about a sales opportunity, you're not going to have all those different data points. You know what? A lot of them you may not even ever get to. And you don't need to have it to make the sale, right? And so just thinking of a dumb one, this isn't a real one, but maybe it is for some people, if you're laying carpet or something. But what is their square footage of their office? Like, do you need to know that? Maybe if you're laying carpet, yes, or you're laying flooring, that's why you need to know the square footage of their building. But you're not going to ask that, even if you're laying carpet as the first one, right? So you call up somebody, and it's kind of those cold calls that you get all the time now. Yes, we noticed that you have a building and that you have floors. Would you how many square feet do you have? And then the other person's like, I don't know you. What do you do, or why are you calling? And so again, that's maybe a beneficial one down the road, but that's not something you're going to capture right off the bat. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and take that soapbox, put it over there, and we're going to go ahead and press on. But I forget how I got there, but just be mindful of, as you guys are designing systems or interacting with systems, if you are the end user, gently remind your system administrator that this system is designed to help you make more sales. That's what it was. Somebody sent me, where did I see that? Somebody sent me an article, and I think it was on LinkedIn, why CRM systems fail. And that was one of them, was the fact that people don't remember why they're building them. That's where it came from. It was a Forbes article is where it was. I will look to find that. I think I can find that. It was actually an email at work. But anyways, so check it out. Okay, so getting back into the release notes. This may be all we do today. We'll see if that crying, you can't hear Baby Bacon anymore. But we'll see if that wore him out more. And so if he's going to, anyways. Customer service, interesting. Not a lot going on with customer service, at least not with the drop down. We got about 3 items for drop downs. Case resolution extensibility. Yes. Case resolution dialogue is an important feature. If you guys haven't seen this, I just need to, it's funny. You hear about these different things, and I'm kind of sad that they're not doing this anymore. But back when they would have releases, they would do like big releases. And when they introduced releases at like summits and stuff like that, like you would like hear people clap, or they'd get a standing ovation. Multi-select happened. This would be one of those times where everybody would stand up and just clap for like, I don't know, like literally probably a minute or two. But it's this concept, and we'll see how long this takes. And again, I'm just going to put it on the other screen. And of course, as soon as I do that, it's going to pop up. This is the dialog box. So I know I'm reading it, but on case resolutions, when you go through there and just go ahead and update something, it's going that dialog box that comes up and says, okay, how many billable minutes do you have? What is the description? What is the resolution? You know what? You never could change that until now. And so now that you can change it, you can meet your unique case resolution process needs. And it's one of those things. It's like, dude, we've been asking for this for literally years. I think since I've been working on the product 8 years ago, like it's been an ask. So, so very excited to see that one come in. If you enjoy it as well, and this is the first time you've seen it, write a comment down below, hit like on the thing. Let me know that you made it this far in the video and that you appreciate that feature. So as part of the feature, admins can add, remove, or edit any of the fields on the case resolution dialog and customize it per the requirements. Perfect. Amazing. This should have been here forever ago. Features, case resolution, accessibility. We just talked end user enhancements. Improved density on forms. I'm curious what that means. A little nervous. SLA timers have been enhanced, so it looks like it's going to have like a progress bar or something like that. I don't know. I haven't seen anything, but that is what makes me think of that. We'll show the remaining time in two modes, business hours and actual hours. Be curious on that. I like the business hours concept. Because that's always been an ask, is how do you do this on a business hours basis? I'm just curious on why you would need both of those. If you, yeah. Knowledge management analytics, so I would anticipate how much people are using it. Using Chrome browser to host web applications in USD. This is really cool, so you no longer have to have IE. So that's very cool. Omni-channel integration hub. So I assume that's everything down below. Yeah. Multi-sessions. So I don't use the omni-channel engagement hub, so I don't have a lot of things around that. A live channel, live chat channel, portal messaging. Where is it possible? It's possible for today's to create a case and request support using D365 portal. With portal messaging, these work items can be routed to appropriate agents via the unified routing. So I'm confused on this one. Is this a chat bot that you're going to integrate? Or is this the fact that create a case and request support using portals, existing functionality? With portal messaging, these work items can be routed to appropriate agents via unified routing and work distribution. Is it just like a messaging app again? Or is this something that they're like actually... I don't know. That one's weird. I don't know. So the thought there is, one, is it just cases and they're essentially just routing a case? Which I feel like you could have done already. Or is this actually messaging? And if it's actually messaging, that's really cool. Customers to bring their bots. What? Increasingly demanding that customers serve their needs and meet their requirements quickly, efficiently, effectively, and accurately. Use of self-service channels, looking to solve products or services themselves. Machine learning, natural language. Key apart from the acuity and non-stop engagement. Intelligent bots within their customer service positively impacts customer service. So is it a chatbot reading your info? So it's a chatbot doing its thing, and then, oh, this person's upset. We can't handle that. Let's pass it off to an actual person. Huh. It's kind of cool. What's planned? IoT visualization. So is this coming in from Azure? This I need to do so much more stuff with this. So sorry, I'll read this out loud and think out loud for those that didn't read through that fast. Embedded IoT with IoT Central. So my guess is that this isn't using Azure IoT devices. I think that's fairly safe to say. As items come in, and you have a case here, so we have a case temperature exceeds threshold, it pops it up and says, hey, this IoT device out there is having issues. We should do something. You can then do commands to the device itself. So we're not going out to somewhere else. But what we're doing is this HVAC pump is either running hot or it's not running at all. And so what we can do is send a command, hit run, and it turns the fan on. It's funny, I'm sitting here looking at my computer, and I can only imagine. I mean, people, this motherboard is doing this for us right now. But it'll spin up the fans when there's processing going on. It's hot, right? So it's running hot. It's doing this kind of stuff. And one of the things you can do is tweak the fan curve and all that kind of good stuff. And so what is interesting and what would be cool to do is control each of the fans. And so each of the different components of the computer have a unique idea, essentially. And so how do we bring that in and allow it to come in there, and when it runs hot, let's go ahead and turn on the large fans, or when it runs cold, let's go ahead and turn those down. And again, that's all ramping up and ramping down, and there's other software that can do that. But being able to have a caseworker do this remotely is really cool. And you're getting the lovely sounds of Seattle. Sounds like a fire truck, if I remember right. We're kind of nearish a main road, and you get the lovely city noise as part of this. So, but just the ability and capability to interact with the IoT device without leaving the system. So as a caseworker, I can go in there, check it, make the change, turn on the fan, turn on the pump. Maybe there's different components that I can turn on or off without having gone out there. Or if there is an actual issue, what I can do is it talks about is sent to the field service application and IoT Central flows based on Microsoft Flow templates. After sending a command, the result can be monitored using the IoT visualization. So I send it. Did it change? No. Okay, we actually need to get somebody out there. So let me go ahead and dispatch Steve to go out there. RASA key is using embedded IoT capabilities, including appropriate mapping to field service accounts. So that's kind of cool. You can help monitor things remotely and see that and interact with that. So again, I kind of like what they're doing here. We saw this earlier with LinkedIn sales. It'll pop it out. And it kind of gives me a mini contextual app right here that I can do things. So measurement, settings, properties. I wonder if that's going to be used other places. So anyways, that's kind of cool. Scheduling capabilities, self-service scheduling via portal. Very cool. I wonder if it will allow us to use other things. Thinking of setting a meeting with a sales rep immediately. You see other apps already do this, and so it'll be interesting to see if we can use Dynamics to do that. Engage your customers on their time at their convenience with self-service scheduling. Scheduling appointments can be time-consuming and resource-intensive and prone to communication mistakes. Now you can empower your customers to simply schedule their own appointments at their convenience, ensuring the skills and availability of your staff are fully considered. In addition to engaging customers in a modern, convenient manner, self-service scheduling empowers your sales and marketing organization to embed self-service into the organization and marketing journey. Whoa. Slow down. Empowers your sales and marketing organizations to embed self-service. Cool. So you can use it within sales and marketing. Let's say your field service division has quarterly preemptive maintenance visits that they need to book. So you shoot them out an email and they click on your lead and you follow up with drip marketing to engage the lead by offering so. Why is this lead a lead if it's preventative maintenance? Sorry. By offering self-service scheduling as an action item in the marketing plan, you can increase conversion rates and decrease follow-up time. Cool. What's the drip marketing we're using? Interested in that? Through a portal, your customers can search for, book available time slots within a day. Customers are presented with time slots that have available resources with the proper skills. After booking an appointment, at a later point in time, customers are able to cancel or rebook appointments. Cool. That's kind of cool. Productivity enhancement, service delivery improvements. I'm curious on this. SLAs, yeah, I also The CRM audio podcast also highlighted this. So multiple resources, work order management. I wish we would have had this last year because I was working with a client that often has multiple people working on a work order. And so that would have been huge to assign sort of a crew or a number of people as opposed to, okay, this is John's. So John's going to work it. Anything else? I think we've touched portals. What's new with portals? Is there anything good here? Fundamentals, integration, extensibility. So what they're focusing on. Diagnostics tools. This is kind of cool. Correct configuration site markers. Impacting anti-steering and slowing. Oh, yes. Performance impacting anti-permissions. That'd be huge. Portal solutions, installation and update failures and suggestions. Huh, okay. Maintenance mode for portals. So if you need to bring it down for a little while, we'd like to thank you for submitting this idea. Oh, cool. This is bouncing us out to another site. That was kind of cool. That was nice of them. So this is a feature, and we'd like to thank people that posted that feature request. So allow the capability. So the status, details, thank you for your feedback. This suggestion has been considered on the short-term roadmap, sincerely. So yeah, so portal maintenance mode, Colin Vermander. I think we've highlighted Colin already. But this is something else I should drop down there. The ideas. This website, if you don't know about it already, is specifically for, well, maybe not this one. I want to be careful what I say. Go to forums. There should be an option to submit ideas. Suggest a new idea. So allow not in search and advanced find. You should like filter these out. But you can see these are the items that Microsoft is working on. Allow admins to log in as users. Oh, that's cool. It's planned. Auto numbering feature. They completed it. I think it came out a couple years ago or last year or something. Field labeled should wrap, not fade. Didn't they already fix that one? That must be on the portal side. Custom composite lookups. Multi lookups in one lookup. That's cool. I'm glad that's planned. Custom composite lookups. So right now they just do customers, and so you can look up to a customer, or which is the account or contact. Sometimes you want to do something else, and so if you need to look at multiple ones, a lot of times, or sometimes you'd go with an activity, and so an activity would be the one thing that pushed it out there. Multi-select pick list. So anyways, that's cool that they're going to help you build that. It ends up being a huge nightmare in the database, and so I think that's been why they've pushed it. Multi-select pick list, ability to set default entity for lookup fields. Yes, please. Like potential customer on the opportunity. Always look at the account or the contact. So I only work with people. I'm using the contact entity. Should be free for everyone to download. Neil Benson. I should like these. I don't know why I haven't uploaded some of these. I should come back in here and do that. I have to log in. Neil, how long ago did you post this thing, man? 8 years ago? Neil, man, sorry. Neil Benson, I think we've touched on him before, but he's got a few ideas out there. Anyways, he hasn't updated his profile apparently in a while, but he is customary. The guy that sent us the Lego earlier. So, anyways, take a look at these. This is cool that they let you do this. It's funny. This one's 2013. This one's been out there for a while. Allow composite fields to be customized. And so when you're looking at address or first name, last name, be able to customize those and review those. Sandbox licenses. So cool. Well, I won't get too much more into that. Check it out. I'm going to drop this down into the link down below. Let me go back to this page. So if you're out here looking for something else besides if you're out there looking for that for all of them, go and put that out there. That's the URL. And just updating the description. So that's out there now as well. Cool. So you can check that out. Cool. Okay. That was the idea. Sorry, I got distracted. But anyways, it's cool that Microsoft is again looking and coming back to people with these different things. So maintenance modes for portals. It's something we touched on before. Displaying external data in portals. This is something that's interesting. If I remember correctly, it's being able to obtain, it's able to get information from another site or another data source besides Dynamics, and then displaying it. Will contain user identity information, external APIs, can use for authorizing through OAuth. So if I wanted to, on a portal, display another system, I can do that through like an iframe or something, I guess. And you can do that. Power BI embedded, ability to surface Power BI reports and dashboards to portal users who don't have a Power BI account. What? So that's going to be nuts. Yeah, we're working on a project that'd be super helpful because Power BI, I don't know, it just got so much more robustness. And so even though you can embed a chart in Dynamics, it's, from Dynamics in the portals, it's not pretty. And so very excited to see this one come through around that. And then the other big one that came out and everybody's highlighting is the CDS can have a portal, a starter portal for itself. And so you no longer have to have like the Microsoft Dynamics 365 or something like that. You can just go directly in and use CDS. You don't have to have sales or marketing applications in order to do that. Recurring apps provide the ability to connect portals to the CDS environments. This feature brings the ability to connect portals to CDS or apps environments that does not have any Dynamics 365 applications. So you don't have sales and marketing. And again, this is just a reminder, just sort of what Microsoft's doing is this push away from Dynamics. And so, yeah, just interested in that and what's going on there. So, I think that's it. I think that's all that I kind of want to highlight or go through. Again, this is me just learning a lot of this. There's a lot of AI stuff. It's not my forte with AI. It's something I need to work on. But we have people on the team already that are focusing in on AI. And so just being mindful of that. So yeah. Okay. I don't know. Let me see if I can see if anybody's even watching right now. If you are, drop a like or subscribe. No, I'm just kidding. I think I'm the only one on here, which is fine. So with that, I think I'm going to wrap up. I know this one's kind of been more Seth reading a website, which is not super exciting, but wanted to thank those that have stuck around for this time this morning and have been watching or have watched the recording after the fact. It's been something that hopefully you've gotten some good content with what's coming out there. We didn't go through necessarily the news, and I'll use all these fancy different things. Kept it a little more basic. Appreciate Jamie Barker for joining this morning from over there in the UK, and catching up. So hopefully you guys found the content to be beneficial. I do want to dive back into more of the system stuff as an administrator, but definitely wanted to. This came out this week. I guess the other thing I just want to do is make sure we highlight sort of the release schedule that Microsoft's doing. And so as part of the releases, we have the release notes, which came out this week. I should have highlighted that last week. So the 21st, February 1st. So next Friday is when the preview is available. So we'll start opening up the system and start poking around on those previews. They are anticipating updating the release notes on the 21st. And so be looking for that. And that's going to be with some of the feedback that's been provided and such. And then also the actual release is in April, so a little ways away. So I guess April 5th, yeah. So be marking your calendars, be looking out for that. If you guys have questions or thoughts or want to engage in the conversation, hit us up on Twitter, either at thebaconbites.com or follow my personal account, so Seth, S-E-T-H, T, Bacon, B-A-C-O-N. So anyways, I appreciate you all joining this morning or catching the recording after the fact, and we look forward to catching you next time. I think that's it. I feel like there's something else that I'm missing, but if it's important, we will follow up and hit it up next time. Thanks, guys.